Moderate-risk provinces in Central Luzon appeal for postponement of GCQ implementation. Well, this video may teach everyone to submit to community quarantine protocols or else. Cities in Metro Manila prepare for the lashing of Tropical Storm Ambo, while Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is monitoring the situation in parts of the country affected by the country's first typhoon this year. In Thailand, city officials warn park goers to comply with safety measures while exercising. Artistic tribute to England's COVID-19 frontline workers expands along a London park.
Tomorrow is May 16th, beginning of the MECQ in Metro Manila, the entire Laguna province and Cebu City. But 5 provinces in Central Luzon or Region 3 are appealing to the Interagency Task Force to place them under modified enhanced community quarantine. Roderick will tell us why.
Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, including the highly urbanized city of Angeles and Zambales, are considered moderate-risk areas in relation to COVID-19 transmission. The governments of those 5 provinces appeal to the IATF, place them under modified enhanced community quarantine instead of transitioning to general community quarantine from tomorrow until end of May. They enumerate several reasons such as a high number of COVID-19 test results pending, low percentage of tested cases, and necessity for a preparation and transition phase from ECQ to GCQ. The palace, for its part, assures the national government is studying the matter carefully. Meanwhile, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque clarifies all low-risk areas for COVID-19 in the country will be placed under modified GCQ, which is a new and different quarantine level. The IATF is working on crafting the guidelines for the implementation of modified general community quarantine. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Tomorrow, parts of the country will transition to different levels of community quarantine. Just a reminder and warning everyone, obey the guidelines authorities have set for the community quarantine in your localities, or else this may happen to you. Joanna reports.
This video of a woman who violated enhanced community protocols according to authorities has gone viral on social media. On the video, the violator, identified as Micaela Tahum, is seen arguing with the police and barangay officials. She was insisting to enter Barangay 156 Bagong Barrio in Caloocan City, which at the time was under a total lockdown. She insisted she had something to hand over to someone in the area. The police also reprimanded her for not wearing a face covering, which is mandatory for everyone. When authorities prevented Micaela to enter Barangay 156, she started a commotion and cursed the police officers.
You're violating the ACQ! Community quarantine, huh?
She even tried to call for help. In the end, she was arrested and brought to the police station. According to the chief of Caloocan City Police, they have filed multiple charges against Micaela. Among these are alarm and scandal, unjust vexation, resistance and disobedience to a person in authority, and violation of the city ordinance to wear a face mask.
It turned out na unauthorized person outside the residence din siya.
The Caloocan City Police advises the public to comply with community quarantine protocols which are in place to protect the public and prevent the further spread of the killer virus. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Baguio City is gearing up for the general community quarantine that will start tomorrow, May 16, primarily reopening its economy. Based on the guidelines for GCQ areas, malls, restaurants, and construction and manufacturing industries are allowed to reopen, but still with certain limitations. Under GCQ, wearing a face mask remains mandatory. Quarantine passes will still be inspected for residents who go outdoors, except for essential workers and employees allowed to head for their workplaces.
The schedule of the market will still be the same. Communities in the barangays will only be allowed to go to the market twice a week.
The liquor ban is still in place according to Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong. Bars and clubs will remain shut.
In connection to that news, if you are now in Baguio City and have been asking if you may go jogging at the park, yes, you may do so, but only between 5 and 8 in the morning. As for transportation, the LTFRB rate will remain. That means there will be no doubling of fare as confirmed by City Mayor Benjamin Magalong. "180 jeepneys will operate beginning tomorrow to serve the riding public, but occupancy must be only 50% of the jeepney's capacity. To compensate jeepney drivers and operators, the city government will provide a 300 peso subsidy per unit per day. 300 taxi cabs will be available for hire. The local chief executive warns of a second wave of COVID-19 infection. Therefore, social distancing measures and proper hygiene must be observed all the time. Based on the city's update, there are 31 COVID-19 positive cases in Baguio. Of those cases, 29 have recovered, 1 has died, and 1 remains under treatment. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered Budget Secretary Wendell Avisado to prune budgetary items that can be realigned for social amelioration. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Under the Social Amelioration Program or SAP, the Philippine government targets to support the needs of about 18 million families. The total allocation for the program amounts to 205 billion pesos according to the Bayanihan to Heal as One law. But President Rodrigo Duterte later on approved to include 5 million more households to benefit from the program. Now, additional funds are necessary. The objective remains to provide cash assistance to all families severely affected by the coronavirus disease pandemic. According to Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered Budget Secretary Wendell Avisado to prune budgetary items that can be realigned to fund the Social Amelioration Program. The chief executive also asked the congressional leaders to help him find the budget. The Duterte administration says, however, the government is still unsure if it is able to pool additional funds worth 50 billion pesos to give assistance to all 23 million families under the second tranche of SAP. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
San Malabon Mayor.
A World Health Organization official recommends to the Philippine government to strengthen its contact tracing efforts. The WHO has been seen reiterating that finding contacts of COVID-19 positives is a tool to contain the virus. Now that the same WHO official mentions the Philippine health system is facing a challenge amid the COVID-19 pandemic. This is despite increasing the country's testing capacity day by day. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Philippine government's daily testing capacity has reached the 9,000 mark, and the country now has 30 licensed testing laboratories. Now, medical professionals have better COVID-19 case management, and hospitals are not overwhelmed so far. But World Health Organization Philippines Technical Officer Wen Capistrano said in today's episode of Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, the Philippine government must boost and intensify contact tracing efforts. This way, a wider scope of virus transmission in the country can be prevented, she says.
Ang isa sa mga pinakamalaking challenge talaga ng Pilipinas ay devolved po yung ating health system, no? Ibig sabihin po, hindi katulad ng ibang mga bansa na national centralized ng health systems. Ibig sabihin, meron kang mga dapat daanan na level ng health system para maabot mo po yung mababang level o pinaka-ground level of yung field site ng ating mga kasalukuyang mga kaso, no, which is the barangay level.
Dr. Capistrano also clarifies that we should not consider that the Philippines is already experiencing a second or third wave of COVID-19 infections.
Sinasabi natin na second wave o third wave, makikita lang natin yan pag tapos na yung pagdami ng mga kaso, no? Parang aftermath na yung pagkita natin na second wave na to o third wave na ito.
Among WHO's recommendations to the government is to place more stringent travel restrictions and maintain this with the existing quarantine restrictions.
Sa WHO po ang sabi namin hindi lang to slow the transmission, no? We have to stop the transmission. We have to push down the virus hanggang mawala na ito sa komunidad.
The WHO Philippines Technical Officer adds that the Philippine government has to learn from the experiences of other countries to prevent a resurgence of COVID-19, especially in communities in urban poor setting. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, in the Western Pacific, where the Philippines belongs to, the World Health Organization regional director said that society should look to create a new normal where health and the economy go hand in hand as the world moves forward from COVID-19. The joint online media briefing hosted by the World Economic Forum in partnership with the WHO explored the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Asia. Some 200 officials attended the online meeting. Takeshi Kasai, WHO Western Pacific Regional Director, said the pandemic has posed a profound and complicated challenges to the whole world. Kasai called on all the countries to work together to ensure the world safe when facing the COVID-19 and other threats.
It is not an easy journey, but I think it's time for all of us to do our part and work together to realize our new future, a more caring, stronger, healthier society for everyone.
Now, to give you an update about the Senate's inquiry on the COVID-19 situation in the country, the senators have rescheduled the inquiry. According to Senate Majority Leader Miguel Zubiri, they will reschedule the first hearing on Tuesday afternoon. Senators are supposed to constitute itself as a committee of the whole to discuss updates on the government's response in the COVID-19 crisis with the administration's economic managers and members of the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19.
Aming complaints on the social amelioration funds and program. Yan ang I'm sure magiging hot topic ng ating mga kasamaan, yung disbursement of funds, if they need additional funds from Congress, ano ba ang mga priorities po nila in the coming months.
Earlier, Senate President Vicente Soto III, who will lead the committee hearing, says some cabinet members have confirmed their physical attendance next week, including Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Finance Secretary Sonny Dominguez, and Acting NEDA Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua. Zubiri assures they will strictly observe minimum health standards and will limit the number of guests who will enter the Senate building.
Practice social distancing, of course, no mask, no entry para sa ating mga invited guests, and we will make sure that we put as much biosecurity as possible para wala pong mahawaan dun sa meeting na yan.
The committee will also tackle the health and economic impact of the crisis, as well as the status of food, energy, and education sectors. Former Senator Tessie Aquino Oreta has died at the age of 75. His son Malabon Mayor Lenlen Oreta confirmed this morning that her mother passed away on Thursday night. In a Facebook post, the mayor described her mother as a public servant and a loving grandmother, mother, wife, and a friend. Senate President Vicente Soto III says his family is saddened by the passing of a close friend. Other lawmakers, including Senator Sonny Angara, Kiko Pangilinan, and Richard Gordon, also expressed their condolences. Aquino Oreta served as a member of the House of Representatives from 1987 to 1998 before elected as senator in 1998. She was a strong advocate of education and women's health empowerment. Some of her bills that have been signed into law during the 11th Congress, including the Solo Parent Act and Solid Waste Management Act. The late senator was the youngest sibling of former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. The Senate will pass a resolution on Monday honoring the late senator.
Coming up next, cities in Metro Manila prepare for the lashing of Tropical Storm Ambo, while Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is monitoring the situation in parts of the country affected by the country's first typhoon this year.
More reasons behind the stories and why news returns.
This is a message to all of our frontliners in the media. We really appreciate what you do for the people and for our country. Being out on the field working now puts your health at risk and also compromises certain things like uncertainty and of course anxiety from being away from our families and our homes. But we'd like to let you know that we consider you our heroes as you continue to bring facts, the news to us, therefore giving the people who are on enhanced quarantine at home peace of mind, knowing what is really going on in the field and all over the country, because all we really have is you. So my message to everyone is to stay safe, use your personal protection equipment, and always give everything to God and always pray. We hope to see all of you after this. Take care. God bless. Salamat sa Diyos sa lahat sa inyo.
Alamin ang
Ano ang maitutulong ng pananatili sa bahay habang may enhanced community quarantine? Ang pagpigil sa loob ng tahanan ay makatutulong ng malaki sa pagpigil sa pagkalat ng COVID-19. Tandaan na ang pagkahawa sa virus ay sa pamamagitan ng close contact. Mabilis itong maipasa. Ang isang may sakit ay pwedeng makahawa ng hanggang 3 tao. Kung hindi lalabas ng bahay, maiiwasan ang pagkalat ng sakit at pagdami ng mga ngailangan ng atensyong medikal. Kapag marami ang magkakasakit ng COVID-19, maaaring hindi matugunan lahat kung higit sa kapasidad ng ating healthcare facility at healthcare workers. Ang kapasidad ng hospital bed sa ating bansa ay isang kama para sa 1,083 tao. At mayroon tayong isang doktor para sa 33,900 tao. Kaya makipagtulungan tayo at manatili sa loob ng bahay. A reminder from UNTV, your public service channel.
Welcome back. William Jago, I am on board the UNTV radio mobile booth here in EDSA North Avenue in Quezon City. And as expected, it is a rainy Friday night because of severe tropical storm Ambo. So as we can see outside, we are experiencing light to moderate rains right now. And despite the weather conditions, we can see some cars and motorcycles on the road. And as announced by Pag-asa William Jago, Metro Manila Manila may expect moderate to heavy and at times intense rains tonight. As of 5 p.m., Metro Manila is still under the tropical cyclone wind signal number 2. So that Pag-asa is advising residents in these areas to take appropriate measures and monitor updates with their local disaster risk reduction offices, and watch out for flooding and rain-induced landslides in your areas. Ambo has weakened into a tropical storm as it approaches northern Quezon with a maximum sustained winds of 100 kilometers per hour and gustiness up to 140 kilometers per hour. It is now moving northwest at 20 kilometers per hour, but it will bring moderate to heavy rains with at times intense rains tonight over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Marinduque, Aurora, Bulacan, Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Isabela, Nueva Vizcaya, and Quirino. Between tonight until tomorrow evening, it will also bring moderate to heavy with at times intense rains over Cordillera, Ilocos region, Central Luzon, Nueva Vizcaya, and Quirino. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 is still up in Metro Manila and Central and Northern Luzon, while Cagayan, Batanes, Zambales, and parts of Quezon and Camarines provinces remain under signal number 1. The next update on Ambo will be at 11 tonight. Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is monitoring the situation in parts of the country hit by Typhoon Ambo. According to presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, the president is in constant coordination with the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC. This is especially so in areas hit by the typhoon, particularly in eastern Samar and in Bicol region. The palace also appeals to the public to remain vigilant and to cooperate with authorities who implement their disaster preparedness and response to ensure everyone's safety.
Meanwhile, the Quezon City government prepares areas prone to flood as tropical cyclone Ambo is expected to bring rain and flood. Authorities will make sure that social distancing measures are observed in case there is a need for residents to evacuate. Ray Pelayo reports why.
Residents in Tumana area, low-lying portion of Bagong Silangan in Quezon City, are among the very first to evacuate during the onset of the country's first tropical cyclone this year. Around 300 families reside in the area. Some households here have a 3-story house, yet they need to evacuate if the situation worsens. According to some residents, the worst flood they have experienced was during the onslaught of Tropical Cyclone Ondoy. Now, the Quezon City local government has prepared evacuation centers where affected residents may temporarily stay. One of such evacuation areas is a covered court in Sitio Kumunoy, Bagong Silangan, where 10 modular tents are installed. Each tent may accommodate up to 5 family members. QC Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office Chief Mike Marasigan expressed concern over the possible surge of floodwater coming from the Sierra Madre mountain ranges, which are part of Tropical Cyclone Ambo's track.
Kahit walang ulan dito, pag bumaba na yung tubig na binuhos sa upstream, ay dadaan po dito sa San Mateo River na nagdudulot ng baha dito sa Bagong Silangan.
Nevertheless, they make sure that residents will be placed on safer grounds. Marasigan also stressed that certain protocols are in place to make sure that none of the evacuees is a carrier of the new coronavirus. For one, strict social distancing measures will be imposed to prevent a potential spread of diseases, especially coronavirus disease.
Hanggang sa ngayon, no, lahat ng mga suspected pa lang, yung mga nag-test na pending results, no, may instruction na rin si Mayor Joy na to pick up all of these people to bring it to our hope facilities.
The QCDRRMO is also monitoring situations in Barangay Rojas, Tatalon, Santo Domingo, Apolonio Samson, and Araneta Avenue for possible flooding in view of the heavy downpour brought about by Tropical Cyclone Ambo. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Manila City authorities deploy several rescue teams to various parts of the city in preparation for the lashing of Typhoon Ambo. From Marikina City, Vincent Arboleda will tell us why live. Yes, Vincent, good evening.
Good evening, William. Rain continues to pour here in Marikina City, accompanied by light to moderately strong wind since this afternoon. To fast-track the response to emergency situations in the city, 6 rescue teams from the Marikina Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council are now on standby in different areas in the city. These include Industrial Valley, San Roque, Santo Niño, Concepcion, Nangka, and Fortune. Rescue boats are readily accessible near the Marikina River in case of need for immediate evacuation. The city's command center monitors road situations. The water level of Marikina River has increased to 30 meters above sea level as of 8 p.m. this evening from 11 meters above sea level at 1 in this afternoon. The Marikina City DRRMO explains this is still considered normal and is expected due to the effect of the storm. The LGU has selected around 45 evacuation centers in case residents near the river need to evacuate. Authorities will make sure that evacuees follow physical distancing protocols. The medical teams under the City Health Office are also ready to assist in medical situations. Here, as of the moment, the Marikina City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council continues to monitor the water level here in the Marikina City as the water level or the flow of the river here seems to be fast, and with the ongoing rain situation, it may reach the first alarm or the 15 meters above sea level. That's the latest news. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Vincent Arboleda, live from Marikina City.
The Valenzuela city government disregards its implementation of preemptive evacuation but closely monitoring residents that may be affected by Typhoon Ambo. Asher Cadapan Jr. tells us why live. Asher, go ahead.
Diego, after observing the intensity of the downpour brought about by Typhoon Ambo, the Valenzuela City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, or VCDRRMO, decided to disregard its plan to implement preemptive evacuation to critical areas. About 20,000 families residing near Tulyahan and Palo Rivers may be affected by possible flood due to severe rain. But according to VCDRRMO, even if the downpour will continue, water level in rivers across Valenzuela is far to becoming critical. The pumping stations and dikes have also been protecting the residential areas from being flooded by May-Kawayan River as well as Manila Bay. Despite the protocol, VCDRRMO assures that their personnel, including rescue teams, city health officers, as well as local government units, are in close monitoring of ground situations. Designated evacuation centers in critical areas are also ready for possible evacuees in case the typhoon will become severe. Diego, at the moment, on and off heavy rain and wind gusts are still being experienced here in Valenzuela City since this afternoon. Diego?
Thank you, Asher Cadapan Jr., live from Valenzuela City. The Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office orders a mandatory evacuation of residents in Barangay Isla Puting Bato in Manila City this evening. Dante Amento is in the area to tell us why live. Dante, go ahead.
Yes, Diego, good evening. Residents in Barangay Isla Puting Bato here in Manila City have begun to evacuate. This part of the city is one of the most flood-prone areas and just near the Manila Bay. It's a risk for a possible storm surge. MDRRMO Director Arnel Angeles says about 300 individuals in the area need to be evacuated this evening. They will temporarily stay in Almario Elementary School. Together with the MDRRMO are the Manila Police District Station 2 personnel headed by Police Colonel Magno Gallora. As of the moment, Diego, the barangay officials are convincing residents, especially those who resist, to evacuate. The Manila City government, meanwhile, assures the assistance such as food and other necessities of the residents in the evacuation area. And that's the latest here in Manila. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Dante Amento, reporting live from Manila City. The PNP Internal Affairs Service confirms the violations of 19 officials and personnel of the National Capital Region Office in connection with the supposed birthday party of Metro Manila Police Chief Major General Debold Sina. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
The PNP Internal Affairs Service confirms it has found violations of quarantine protocols in the acts of 19 Metro Manila police officials and personnel in connection with the alleged birthday celebration of NCRPO Chief Police Major General Debold Sinas. PNP IAS Inspector General Attorney Alfigar Triambulo says those police officers include 1 Major General, Brigadier Generals, Colonels, 1 Lieutenant Colonel, 2 Majors, and 2 Police Corporals.
Yung violation,
Na?
nakita nyo rin. Social gathering, walang face mask, distancing. Pictures, 50,000 words.
They are now facing criminal and administrative charges.
11, 32, saka yung ordinansa ng tagig sa criminal. Non-wearing of face mask. The admin, yung EO 112 ni PRD na inadapt yung sa resolution ng task force. Tapos yung napulcom circular, yung mga willful violation na hindi pagsunod, mga neglect.
Triambulo also confirms that after investigation, the photos that show the police officials drinking beer are old ones. Meanwhile, PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Bana clarifies that Major General Sinas will remain as the NCRPO director. This is contrary to reports circulating on social media that Sinas has been relieved from his post and has been replaced by Pro 4A Director, Police Brigadier General Vicente Danao Jr.
Sa ngayon ay walang movement among top officials sa NCRPO.
The issue sparked after several photos circulated on social media showing an alleged birthday party of the Metro Manila TAP Cap where physical distancing violations can be seen. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, good news. Today is the 2nd consecutive day of no recorded fatalities and 3rd consecutive day of more recoveries than new confirmed cases among Filipinos abroad. This is based on figures reported by our Foreign Service post, with 50 new recoveries from across all regions and only 9 new confirmed cases recorded in the Americas and Middle East.
And now let's take a closer look at the updated tally of the coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of more than 4.44 million confirmed cases in 188 countries, regions, and sovereignties. The most recent country to record a COVID-19 positive is a South African kingdom. The fast-spreading disease has claimed over 302,000 lives, while almost 1.6 million patients across the globe have recovered from the coronavirus infection. The Philippines Department of Health reported today that as of 4 p.m., 215 new cases have been recorded, bringing the total confirmed cases in the country to 12,091. We have lost 16 more patients. Now the country's death toll stands at 806. But with the help of our valiant medical frontliners, 123 more people have won their battle against the invisible enemy. That brings the total recoveries nationwide to 2,460.
Aside from the typhoon and COVID-19 crisis, there is another problem that we are faced with: our payables. Name it: water bill, electric bill, every bill that we used to pay regularly. Under the Bayanihan Act, there is a 30-day grace period or moratorium in paying our bills while we are under the enhanced community quarantine. But the grace period is putting off paying your bills, and that must be clear, meaning we still need to settle all of our payables. But how can we do this? How about credit card penalties? The Bayanihan to Heal as One Act is very explicit in stating that credit card issuers cannot charge late payment fees, finance charges, and interest for payments that are due within the lockdown period. How about monthly rent? The 30-day moratorium also applies to residential and commercial rent for micro, small, and medium enterprises, as long as the due date falls within, again, the lockdown period. How about cell phone bills? To all subscribers of Smart, PLDT, and Sun, you can apply for the 6-month installment bills program. All unsettled bills as of April 30 will be divided into 6 equal monthly payments without any interest and penalties. For Globe subscribers, the deadline is extended until May 15. That's today. How about power? Manila Electric Company suspended physical meter reading during the lockdown. Bills for the period of March 17 to April 14 will be based on the average for the last 3 months. The readings will be adjusted to include the lockdown period consumption. This will reflect in the next billing cycle. How about water bills? Maynilad and Manila Water clarified that there will be no disconnection of water supply during the community quarantine period. Maynilad Water Services and Manila Water both have given a 30-day extension for payments due within the lockdown period. All payments can be done online or through bayad centers. The question now is, how do Filipinos settle all these payables? Well, let's wait for the government if they will come up with measures to ease everybody's burden in paying all our payables. Mon Hocson, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Good evening, Diego, William, Diego, and Harleen. How are you? Thai officials have allowed the public to conduct several activities like outdoor and non-contact sports since May 3rd. But people may do so as long as they follow safety measures and guidelines. Later on, I will give you details about this and why Brazil is creating vertical cemeteries. Currently, here in Thailand, although most people comply with the new regulations, some still do not cooperate, according to City Law Enforcement PH Song. He saw this while he was patrolling along a 2.5-kilometer running track in a park here. After several inspections, some park officials reported there were park goers who didn't wear a mask, used public exercise equipment, and did not maintain physical distance. Some even ignored their warnings. City Clerk Silapasuway Rawiseng Sun said if people ignore the warning, they will be asked to leave the park. And if they continue to violate health instructions, officials may need to close the parks. Brazil's Sao Paulo state is building thousands of vertical funeral plots for coronavirus victims as the country's pandemic death toll edges towards 14,000 on Thursday. According to local officials, the state is constructing 13,000 vertical plots on 3 cemeteries. Evolution Tecnologia Funeraria manufactures these vertical cemeteries. Company director Heber Villa says the materials used are safe and sustainable and made from recycled materials. Brazil is Latin America's ground zero of coronavirus infections with over 200,000 confirmed cases. Sao Paulo is one of Brazil's worst affected states. Its governor, João Doria, has cautioned against a rush to lifting lockdown in the state despite criticism from President Bolsonaro. Britain is now the worst-hit country in Europe with more than 40,000 deaths from COVID-19. Now, a British artist has thought of a way to thank the National Health Service, or NHS, and other key workers in the coronavirus crisis. It's quite unique and entertaining too. Jovic Burmas, who's now in London, tells us why.
Fences covered with thank yous and well wishes to England's frontliners greeted Britons on Thursday. It's a celebration of the sacrifices and gallantry of the National Health Service, or NHS, and other key workers in the fight against COVID-19. Right here on the border of an East London park, the work of artist Peter Liversidge consists of hundreds of text-heavy multicolored signs arranged along the roadside. Elements have continually been added over the past 2 months. It now spreads over 100 meters down the side of Mile End Park. The thank yous extend to other frontliners, including postal workers, teachers, social workers, bus drivers, the fire brigade, and beammen. More tests, more PPE. Protect health workers. Stay safe. Some signs read. Also on Thursday, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his fiancée Carrie Symonds joined Britons nationwide in a weekly round of applause in tribute to care workers and hospital staff. People across the United Kingdom have been cheering, banging pots and pans, and playing musical instruments every Thursday evening since the applause became an emotional weekly ritual when it first took place on March 26th. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And while staying at home, let's take a glimpse of the beauty of nature. Mesa Botanic Garden on Wednesday gave the world a chance to take a peek at the 72-hour blooming of the world's largest flower via live streaming. Did you know the Amorphophallus titanum, or Titan arum, was discovered in the rainforests of Sumatra in 1878? This flower can weigh as much as 130 kilograms or 287 pounds. Back in 2008, its first bloom attracted 8,000 spectators. But due to coronavirus-imposed lockdown, this rare event was not witnessed by visitors this year. The blooming occurs every 3 years in natural environments. The fetid odor of the flower attracts sweat bees from far and wide before dying. How about that? Well, that's it, and those are the reasons behind the news here in Bangkok, Thailand, and in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Dumaraos. Good evening.
Jago, William, and Kath, despite the free hours due to quarantine, some people tend to forget to do any physical activities at these days at all. But the good thing now is that the World Health Organization is taking the third Walk the Talk, the Health for All Challenge. But this time, it is quite different from 2 previous events. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
First, in May 20, 2018. Next, in 2019. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has been staging Walk the Talk, Health for All event. Fitness enthusiasts from all over the world joined and enjoyed the various activities highlighted in Geneva, Switzerland. But now that stay-at-home orders are still in place in many countries and outdoor activities remain limited, WHO launches the third Walk the Talk, Health for All virtual. Anyone can join the virtual event this weekend, May 16 and 17. According to WHO, the virtual Walk the Talk will support ongoing efforts to promote ways for people to be healthy at home, encouraging everyone to engage in activities that promote good physical and mental health. WHO invites to join in from their homes, wherever they are located in the world. There will also be live chats with health experts on topics ranging from physical and mental health to nutrition and healthy aging. The events kick off in WHO's regional office in the Western Pacific at 9 a.m. local time in Manila and will feature activities from each of WHO offices in Delhi, Cairo, Brazzaville, Copenhagen, and Washington, D.C. Then on Sunday, May 17, Walk the Talk will arrive in Geneva at WHO headquarters starting at 11 a.m. The aim is to get people moving from their own health and that of others. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, we are at a time when the country is under a state of health emergency. The cooperation of all Filipinos is imperative to avoid the further spread of the deadly virus.
We are calling on everyone to be calm and, most importantly, let us join together in prayer for our country and for the whole world to survive this crisis.
You may join us in our daily UNTV community prayer at these hours as flashed on your screens. And those are the reasons behind the news. I am Harleen Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
As for the third, we will always ask why. Have a happy weekend and good evening.